Okay, so you wrote a paragraph describing this painting. So I want to kind of go over that with you. Like, what did you write about? So, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to describe the picture, and hopefully, what you wrote about sounds like what I'm just about to talk about. So, this is a painting of a girl. She's lying in a field, kind of pushing herself up with her hands. She is wearing a faded pink dress. Her hands are on the ground, and her back is to us, and she's in kind of like the lower left hand part of the center of the painting. So her head is, I think, just might be in exact center of the painting, and then the body comes out the lower left hand part of that. Um, the field is kind of like a brownish green, and like I said, her back is towards us, and she's looking to the top of this hill of the field, and we see two, three, four buildings. All of them are gray. One of them looks like a house. The one on the left. So the the buildings are along the horizon line towards the top of the painting. There's three buildings clustered together on the right side, and then in the middle, there's a separate building. Of the three buildings that are on the right, it looks like a house and a a little the extension that comes along the side of the house, and possibly a dog house. Um, the house has two chimneys poking out the top. There's two um, uh, windows on the roof, and it looks like there's a ladder going up to the roof of the house. Um, and then I can see a fence going around the house. And then, yes, there's a piece of farm equipment that I see. It looks like it might be a plow that gets pulled by an ox. So that is a pretty old piece of farm equipment. The building on the left looks like it could be a barn, and I say that because there's no windows in it. Um, there is a road in the right hand part of the top of the hill, and it looks like it's a dirt road. The sky varies between like a light medium gray to a white along the horizon. So that is pretty much the description of what the painting is. It's a rather simple painting, but anyways, that's the description. We're going to move on to analysis. You can see that it says analysis up here in the upper left-hand corner. I'm not going to ask you to do an analysis of this painting because I haven't yet taught you the elements and the principles, but I just want you to sit back and listen to me analyze the artwork. So, the one element that really screams at me is texture. There's a really heavy texture of the grass. This artist painted every single blade of grass separately, and it looks like if I were to touch that painting, if I were to touch that screen on my computer, it would have this dry, scratchy kind of feel to it. Another thing that I want to talk about in this painting is color. Most of the colors are muted. They range from a gray to a brown, and even the pink of her dress is like a faded color. It's not a bright pink, it's a faded pink. And the color of her skin is a faded color. The color of her hair, everything about the colors in this picture is faded. Another one of the elements and principles I want to talk about is emphasis. There is a strong emphasis in this painting. And when you first look at the painting, your eye is immediately drawn towards the girl in the field. The reason for that is that it is a stark image amongst a flat background. So the the field of grass makes for a flat background, and having this lone figure in there really grabs our attention. There's two other points of emphasis as well as the barn at the top center, and then the houses on the top right. Those are also points of interest. So your eye kind of jumps between her to the barn to the house and back to her again. Um, And so those are the three things that really stick out in my that grab my attention that I can talk about with the elements and principles. And remember, you don't have to talk about all the elements and principles, just the ones that apply. Like line. I don't really see a strong sense of line in here. Yes, I can point out some lines, but it doesn't really focus on lines. Shape, the shapes of the houses are kind of stand out as well. The shape of her dress, like the houses are very geometrically shaped. And if you imagine her dress as a shape, and that is an organic shape right there. So the geometric houses are contraposed to the geometric or the organic shape of her dress. Uh, Value, like the darkness of her hair with the lightness of her dress, like right next to it, the lightness of her shoulder, that creates a strong contrast of value. The rest of it is kind of like medium values, the medium grays of the house, the medium grayish, brownish, greenish grass. Those are all medium values. I talked about texture and rhythm. There's a lot of rhythm in the grass, or there's like a rhythm of the barn, the house, the girl, the barn, the house, the girl, the barn, the house, the girl. That creates a rhythm. Um, Proportion, it looks like it's realistic proportions. And well, that's, I you kind of get the point of what to talk about with analysis. If I were to analyze this, I would only just talk about the texture and the colors mostly, because that's what really pops out and grabs my attention. All right, we are going to move on. Okay, I have analyzed this artwork for you, and what I want you to do now is I want you to write a paragraph interpreting the artwork. So this is the third step of art criticism. And here's what I want you to think of in your head is, what is the meaning of this artwork? What is the story behind this? Why is she in the field? What is she crawling to or from? And why are the colors muted like this? So those are the things I want you to think about. The book that I've gotten this from has some good things to think about while you interpret this artwork. So listen along as I read. Review the clues you have collected. What do you think the artist is trying to tell you about the relationship between the girl and her environment? What do you think is happening in this painting? Hold a ruler along the left side of the roof on the main house. Do you see how the line leans your eye to the girl? And notice how the girl is straining toward the house. She is wearing faded colors, and the house is gray and unpainted. Why do you think such a large area of ground is visible? Why has the artist shown separate blades of grass? When you acted out the girl's pose, did you feel the pressure on your arms? Did you feel the tension? Did you notice that your legs were not carrying any weight? Can you guess what the artist is trying to say about the relationship between the girl and the house? Do you sense any special feelings? What do you think he is trying to say about being a part of things? Other than its title, can you think of a word or phrase that describes the artwork? What title would you give it? Try to go beyond the events that appear to be taking place in the painting. Seek the general idea or theme that you believe the artist is trying to express. If you put together the facts and your own ideas about the world, you will probably discover the meaning of the artwork to you. All right. There's some read through this. Let's see. Review the clues you have collected. Let's see. She's wearing faded colors and the house is unpainted gray. What do you think that means? What can you infer from this? Why do you think such a large area of ground is visible? Why has the artist shown separate blades of grass? When you acted out the girl's pose, as we did all that, let's see, did you feel the tension? All right, why do you think it is that she's not carrying any weight? Can you guess what the artist is trying to say about the relationship between the girl and the house? Do you sense any special feelings? What is the story behind this picture? And then what mood does this painting convey? Is there a bigger meaning than going on beyond? Is there a bigger meaning going on here beyond just what you see in the painting? How do you relate to the painting? Does it remind you of anything personal? So think about all of this, look at the painting, and then I want you to write a paragraph interpreting this painting. It should be about 7 lines long, 7 lines across, about 50, that's about 50 words. So go ahead and do that now.